Shalom. It's time for another segment of A Critical Perspective, Micdrop, where I recognize those truth bombs that I couldn't have said better myself. Today's Micdrop comes from James O'Keefe of Project Veritas, the most important journalism outlet in America. He is one of the bravest people in the country, no doubt. This dude and his team are fearless. Every time they drop a new expose, it's a must watch for me. James is exposing the super corrupt Biden administration doing what they do best, breaking the law. Let's check it out.
We recently reported the Department of Justice secretly seized emails from journalists' Microsoft accounts and hid that from a federal judge. Well, it didn't stop there. The services we all use every day have also been compromised. New documents reveal professional and private accounts from Apple and Google were secretly obtained as well. This comes on the heels of bipartisan support for legislation protecting journalists from gross government overreach by the Department of Justice. This is not just about Project Veritas. There are thousands of these secret orders issued every year. Ours are just a fraction of that. These orders are not just limited to journalists. Everyday American citizens are also being spied on by these secret orders, signed without so much as a hearing. Not only were they spying on our journalists' accounts, the Department of Justice was also spying on our security detail. This is a letter sent from the Department of Justice to Google in California, signed by the United States Attorney in the Southern District of New York. They compelled Google not disclose they were obtaining the correspondence of our security detail's Google Gmail account. The Department of Justice wasn't just targeting our journalists, they were going after those tasked with protecting the journalists' lives. Think about what is in your Apple and Google Gmail accounts. These are not just emails. These are your text messages. These are your private photographs of you and your children, your iCloud accounts, your location data, everything. And in the case of journalists, this also includes the information of our sources. It's time the Department of Justice answered for their actions. And we now know the Department of Justice shopped these secret orders around to 9 different magistrate judges, apparently in their efforts to keep the breadth of their overreach hidden. Is this the world we want to live in? Our government spying on Americans' private information, imposing secrecy orders with no real justification, effectively lying by omission to the courts meant to uphold our rights? Now, you can dislike Project Veritas, you can dislike me. But the government's overstep, the SDNY's overstep, is a sign of unprecedented power that affects us all. You can either stand for freedom of the press or you endorse this and wait until it happens to you.
You have to watch this full video on Project Veritas. Actually, you need to binge watch their channel. Just subscribe to it and watch everything. If you have not heard of them, be prepared to have your eyes open to what is going on. It's going to shock you up. I hope. I remember watching a video from James on January 6th last year from his hotel room in Washington, D.C. And he shared that he had whistleblowers on the inside of the government coming to him who wanted to expose the corruption. I have never met James. I hope to meet him someday. But from what I've seen in the past 4 years of following him, if he says something, it turns out to be right on. That's why he and Project Veritas are hated so much. They expose corruption 24/7, like what our media is supposed to be doing, instead of virtue signaling and producing propaganda all day. Right. So James O'Keefe, this mic drop is for you. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for doing something. You, sir, inspired me to step outside of my comfort zone and to do this. So know that people like me will keep supporting you. And that's a wrap for this edition of A Critical Perspective Mic Drops. To all my family in Christ, to all my patriots, I'm your brother, no matter your color. Remember this, life isn't fair, but God is just.